Working on location means having to use whatever is given to you to help illuminate the subject. Often, the existing light or devices will guide you. Here, the white exterior walls of the porch gave me the idea to use it to bounce soft white light back to the subject. Since there was no sun reaching that wall, I had to reflect it with the mirror side of the fuzzy flector. This is a before shot without the reflected light. The sunlight bounced off the wall gave us a stronger illumination and better color. Again, sunlight bounced off of a white surface is a beautiful light to work with. And the only way to get this amount of light into a wall is with a reflector that is as reflective as a mirror. Well, by now you know that light isn't always where we want it, nor is a strong light source always in a place that's easy to reflect with one reflector. For those times we need to bounce sunlight off of the mirror or silver side of one reflector to another reflector, and then to the subject. Here she is before I redirected the light. It's sufficient in strength, but because it came from my left, it accentuated her nose, which is something she requested that I subdue. By redirecting that light to come from the front of her face, it made her nose appear smaller. Using the mirror side allows us to redirect the light all the way onto that second floor ceiling. A view from the senior's position shows a main light that's above the face and a fill even with the face. That's what I like. Without the reflected light, mostly green light from the trees is coming through the windows, so she's green and flatly lit. But with the aid of the bounced light, we've got plenty of great light. That's the real beauty of reflecting sunlight onto a white surface. It's very bright, so it's easy to see and work with. Another use of this technique is to send light to a window, then diffuse it through a scrim. I'll go into some applications for this at different times throughout this program. But here's the image from that setup. The clean light here is from reflecting outside sunlight through that window and the scrim. The mirror side of the fuzzy flector is very useful indoors where the light levels are low and it's easy on the subject's eyes. I work a lot in garages. One way to use an open garage door is to reflect light with the mirror side of a fuzzy flector. An efficient reflector on the ground creates a strong look that's suitable for a relatively dramatic and tough style of imagery, such as sports. And here's the result. This dramatic lighting is not for nice, pretty pictures. By the way, the background is very warm and saturated because of the sunlight that's passing through it from behind. You can do this with a strobe too, and I used to do a lot of that in my studio since the 1980s. When I shot this, the sun went away, and you can see how significantly darker and duller the background became. Later in the background section, I'll share a few ideas on how to change that. The beauty of using a reflector rather than a flash is that you can see exactly what you'll get, and be able to see if it's the right amount of light. The image I'll discuss was done in an old grain bin of a barn. The window behind him created a light for the piano, and it was a terrific accent light on the guy. My fuzzy flector was positioned to catch light from the open door behind me. But initially, the light was too strong in comparison to the background lighting, so I feathered the light away from him a little bit. Before feathering the light, you can see that he was overlit compared to the background. So since I can't add light to the background, my only option was to send less light to him. This is a rough guide as to what kind of light to use the various reflector sides. Over time, the panel will get dings and holes poked into it. They can easily be repaired with white gaffer's tape. I use aluminum tape from a hardware store for the mirror side. On the silver side, I use that same aluminum tape, but then I spray silver paint over it to mute or soften it so that it doesn't cause any hot spots. By the way, for some reason, dogs and little kids like to walk on my reflector. As you can see, it's light as a feather. And as you can see, it's not a new idea.